Welcome back to Sigil of Something. Today we're diving into the Guardian class and how the common and rares in Compendium Rathe impact the Guardian class in Silver Age specifically, maybe some other tools that Guardians got along the way from the new cards, but a lot to look at here. A Guardian kind of been on the fringe of the meta for a couple years in CC. In Silver Age, a little bit more of a place, but we can kind of identify some places that Guardian excels at, and maybe find a way for them to find footing there. But anyways, Oldham's going to be that young hero Marvel for the Guardians here. No Bravo, which is unfortunate, but new Bravo does have the Marvel, which was the prize from a skirmish season earlier last year, end of 2025. So Oldham gets the fancy new one this time around. Again, we see a full equipment suite, head, chest, arms, and legs. Interesting here. We see this with the brutes as well. We'll talk on that in the brute video, but we have a Guardian default Arcane Barrier 1 for a headpiece, which is, hey, play some Arcane Barrier. It has a default equipment. Maybe there's something you can do with this, but this is literally no rune hood with different art, different name, and very specific to the class. So interesting design space there. We'll see how that continued to play out. I think this is one of the best cards Guardian got in Compendium, and there's a space that maybe you played in CC, though I think all the other options are a little bit better. When you play an aura, you can tap and pay 1 to create a seismic surge. It does have guardrail, so it does block 2. If you're playing Valda or maybe even Pleiades, where you're making auras and you're playing auras, you can pay that additional 1 to create a seismic surge. Have some payoff in that regard. Volcanic Vice follows a similar pattern of being thematic to doing something that is relevant to the class identity, this time being make a seismic surge to get spell void. The brute one is pitch a 6 to get spell void. So some interesting play around things that we're seeing here with some of these rares that we got, specifically in the arms and the head. And then again, we see a similar thing with some of the equipment pieces here. If you control a seismic surge, this gets +1, has that temper, so you can potentially block 3 with these boots, which is pretty solid. And then we're going to move on to the generic Guardian cards. Generic Guardian block in yellow, blocking for 3. And when it defends, you can pay up to 3 to create that many seismic surge tokens. So it's a 2-card 6 because you're going to make those surges, but then you potentially swing something for free. The art's pretty cool, but I don't think it's anything that's great by any means. I think there's some places where Valda might like to get some value out of this card, but again, I think this card is a Silver Age card through and through. It feels a little slow to be playing in CC, but again, being able to pay resources to make surges on your opponent's turn could be problematic in a good way for Guardian. It's again another way to utilize your hand. Maybe they're only swinging 1 attack because you're able to strip their hand, and then you have a full hand and you need something to do with it. You can block 3, pitch a blue, and then that's pretty good. You get to utilize your full hand that way, which something Guardians always struggled with. A distant rumbling, enter the arena, draw a card. Drawing a card is good. Valda likes that. And then you can put a card from your hand in 5th from the top of your deck. So it doesn't set up your next hand, it sets up the hand after that, which is kind of interesting. And then it makes a seismic surge token as well. So if you're on an Earthlore bounty build in Valda, you draw a card and you make a seismic surge. So this could potentially make 4. I can see this being played in CC for Valda. I'm not sure how you're going to play it in Sage for Valda just yet. I don't think the other Guardians necessarily want to run this, though I could see a world where Bravo wants to run it. Maybe you fix your hand in one way or another. And then Rites of Earthlore. We saw this art teased in the Compendium trailers a couple of times. I'm a big fan of this artwork. We thought we were going to get Young Terra or something here. Instead, we just get this card, Rites of Earthlore, which is when this enters, create a Cycle Surge. Guardians like this. This also pairs really well with the chess piece. At the start of the turn, you destroy this, and then your next thing gets +3. So it's a 4 value card there. It can be up to 5, depending on how you want to talk about how you get the value off the magmatic carapace, but interesting card there. But then we're moving into the talented Seeds of Strength. This is a 100% a Terra card. You can pitch a blue, make 3 mites, actually make 4 mites off the Earthbound, and then you can make, with your 1 floating, use your Terra hero ability to create 5 mites, and then you can do some interesting things there. It blocks 3. Terra likes that. So again, format's a little slow for Terra to get full value, though we have seen some success for Terra at the Silver Age level early on in Silver Age. Again, Some interesting things you can do with this, though, if you can convert those 5 mites into something, that's pretty good. Um, but there's some interesting things, especially with it costing 2. Monolith of Galicia. This is an Oldhim card. This is a Jarl card. Choose one or more. That's pretty strong. If you have something that's already frozen, so you have to be able to get that frozen ability already there. There's some equipment pieces that can help you with that. There's some instant speed effects that can help you with that. But it's a block 2, so as much as I would like to see this card be played in both CC and Sage, I'm just not sure it's there unless there's a world where there's a lot of allies running around and lots of ways to be able to freeze things. Though we did see some of that with those ice cards released in Compendium as well. And then moving on to 100% the Pleiades card of the set is if you have less health than each hero. So alluding to some UPF things there. This gets +1 for each aura of suspense that you control. It's a 3 for 6, which is fine. But if you maybe have 2 auras of suspense, that can give you 8. 3 for 8, not bad. But again, there's no on-hit effect, so it's just raw damage. So if you compare that with an on-hit effect one way or another, that's pretty strong. Again, it's a Pleiades card. I think it's 100% geared for Sage as a format. UPF obviously with the each other hero language there as well. I think as people are playing Pleiades more, whether that be CC, Sage, or even just limited play, she can get a lot of value at being at lower health, and maximizing that way to pivot there is, I think, the way that she wants to win games, or just make a confidence token, pop like 8 auras of suspense, and then kill your opponent for like 24 with confidence. That's kind of the Pleiades thing. Um, Easier said than done, obviously. And then Lyeth, everything about this card I just find great. Walk my own shoes. Hilarious because of the crush ability here. It's a 0 for 3. Again, Guardians not having to pay for things is very interesting. Lyeth wants to use attack reactions to get those buffs going up, but the crush effect is when this deals 4 or more damage until the next turn, the base attack and defense of attack action cards opponent's control is halved rounded up. So it's kind of like that Lyeth hero ability, or that Lyeth tax text that's on his hero card there. So interesting things to do that. I think there's some interesting things you can do with Lyeth and Sage as a format. Is it competitive? Is it going to be at the top of A or S tier? I don't think so. Is it fun? Absolutely. And I'm all about having fun. So, and again, this card also baits out blocks, and sometimes baiting out blocks as a Guardian is one of the best things that you can do, especially Lyeth, if you can find other ways to utilize your cards one way or another. But I'm excited to see Lyeth's build around this card. I would like to build around this card in Sage myself. I think there's some Valda pizzas. I think there's some Terra pieces. As things continue to grow, as I don't think we're going to get another set like Compendium giving us a lot of support for all heroes and all classes and all talents, but there's some pieces that we can build around. There's some ways decks can change, especially maybe the Guardian play experience. I do think Valhai Riven is the best card because if your opponent is not doing much, it allows you a way to maximize the value from your hand to get surges and to block at the same time, rather than just blocking Swinging Hammer or setting up a pivot turn like that. Sometimes Guardians struggle with that turn after the pivot turn, where it's like, well, now I can't do anything because my hand doesn't convert super well. So I think that helps with that. Rites of Earthlore I like as a Valda enjoyer, but can be excited to play around with that one. But that's Guardian. That's the new cards from Compendium. That's how they're affected there. So hopefully you learn something and you can take that knowledge onto your deck building skills or anything else in between. Thanks, guys.